Good morning, Quakertown. How's everybody this morning?
Good morning.
We spared no expense today. We spent all our money on tents, so I'm sorry there's no air conditioning. My name is Ed Preston. I'm the chairman of the Pennsylvania Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. I want to welcome you today, Tuesday, July 29th, to the dedication of the Major Frank Claveloux Parker III Memorial Bridge. I'm very happy you all could come out. I'd like to introduce the Joint Wallace Willard Keller Legion Post 242 and the John Rivers Memorial VFW 11-3-22 color guard, please. Everyone, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Those of you in uniform, please remove your cover. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Present arms. Quarter arms. Left face. Forward arms.
Thank you, Color Guard. I'd like to welcome all of you, and especially the family of Frank Parker. We have his widow and 2 children here with us today to make this day even more special. So today we will honor Major Frank Parker III. This is our 16th bridge with the county. For my organization, this is our 24th dedication. So we're making an inroad to cover the 136 that we want to honor from Vietnam, from Bucks County. It's really a great honor and a privilege to be able to speak for these men. And I know that the other people we have behind me also feel the same. So when in 2017, we did a project called The Wall in Bucks County. Just 2 weeks ago was actually the 8-year anniversary of that event. And when we brought the wall to Pendel, we were told crazy things would happen. Coincidences would take place. Magic would take place. Things you couldn't explain would happen. And we were like, oh, okay, sure. But by the 3rd hour into the 4-day event, it was evident that those words were absolutely true. That karma, that magic, that coincidence that I don't believe in follows us through these dedications. In an effort to contact all the families as we do, the Parker family was no different. I texted, emailed, mailed letters, a couple other things. I was in Greene, New York on the 13th of July, and in a little diner called Bonnie's Diner. And in this diner was a little bit military decorated, but it was a very small town, one traffic light, 5 streets. Very cool. And there was a blue star hanging in the window. I asked the waitress, who's the blue star for? She said, it's for everybody in the family. I said, oh, that's for everybody in the town. I'm like, oh, that's very cool. Off to the side, there was a small wooden plaque, not that big. And it said, in memory of Specialist Herman Emil Anders Jr. I said, wow, that's pretty cool. One man from a town this small. So I searched his name on the wall, found it. I read about him and his battle, a huge battle over 3 days, where him and 3 of his other comrades were killed. And I left a note on the wall for him that said, I'm visiting your hometown. I'm in the diner that you may have dined in, Bonnie's. I've talked to your neighbors and your friends here at the diner, and you are not forgotten, and you will be remembered. So we had breakfast and we left. 4 miles down the road, we came across a small little bridge, a little bigger than this, and on it was a sign. Specialist Herman Emil Anders Jr. Memorial Bridge. Wow. We were halfway over the bridge. My phone rang. And it was Frank Parker. So, again, coincidence, maybe? I don't know. But it certainly made me take notice of not only what we were going to do this weekend, but also how everybody's name, the 58,324 that we lost in Vietnam, are all so important. And it only takes one small second to just look around and you'll see one. You might see a memorial, you might see a name. It only takes a second to say it, think about it, and remember it. In the end, the legacy we leave is not to let these men fade away. That is our legacy. That is our duty, to make sure that that is how they are remembered and always remembered. I'd like to introduce Quakertown Borough Councilman Mike Johnson, please.
Good morning. Major Parker's family, another distinguished guest, thank you for attending this dedication. Family is here, seats to my right. Today we gather to dedicate this bridge honoring the life and legacy of a brave soul, Major Frank Parker, who served our country with courage during one of its most challenging times, the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War tested the strength, resolve, and patriotism of countless young Americans. Major Parker answered the call of duty not for recognition or reward, but because he believed in something greater than himself, his country, his fellow soldiers, and the freedoms we all hold dear. Though the war may be decades behind us, the sacrifices made by veterans like Major Parker echo through time. He faced the horrors of war, the weight of duty, the hardships that many can never fully understand. Yet through it all, he carried himself with honor and dignity. Today, we do not just remember a soldier, but remember a hero. And while he may no longer be with us in body, his spirit lives on in the values and freedom he helped us protect. Let us never forget his service. Let us carry forward his memory with pride, and let us say with gratitude and reverence, thank you, Major Parker, for your sacrifice will never be forgotten. To the Parker family, thank you for your sacrifice your family has made, and please know that our community is grateful for your husband and father's service to our great nation. May all those who use this bridge understand and appreciate Major Parker's duty to country. May his legacy live in our Quakertown community forever. Thank you. And on a personal note, this is my hometown. I grew up here. I've traveled across this bridge thousands of times, whether as a child riding a bike to go visit friends, or now as a father and a grandfather taking my children to the sports complexes to play either baseball or soccer. So from now on, when I cross this bridge, I'll be thinking of Major Parker. So again, thank you.
Thank you. the goal is to have him remembered always. The sign will be on this bridge forever, so anybody will always be able to see his name, read his name, and say his name. And that is, for me, a precious gift that we can give. I'd like to introduce County Commissioner Diane Marseglia.
Good morning, and it is really an honor to be here with all of you, but especially with the family today. This is certainly a big loss, and it was a traumatic loss. It's the kind of loss that mental health professionals refer to as intergenerational trauma, because as we remember it, for each generation, there is still pain. But we know that the best way to deal with traumatic loss is two ways: honor that loss and talk about that loss. And so I hope today, in talking about Major Parker and in honoring him with this bridge, that we can begin to help you to heal. It is my hope that the opening of this bridge will become a conduit between the past and the present and the future that won't exist without constant pain. It's my prayer that there will be literal generations of healing by the opening of this bridge. And I promise you and pledge to you that the County of Bucks will always see this as a visible promise that Major Parker will never be forgotten, that we will always remember. So thank you.
Thank you, Diane. We certainly can take the county at their word, because Bob Harvey 3 years ago gave me his word that we could do this until we were finished. And they certainly have helped me along the way to make sure we've honored all these men. So thank you, Bob, and the county. We appreciate it very much. At this time, I'd like to introduce Matt Allen, Director of Bucks County Veterans Affairs.
Thank you, everyone. Each dedication, I always say that I wish we didn't have to do these dedications. I wish that everyone returned home from war. But this is a small token that we can give back to the family for those that paid the ultimate sacrifice. We gather today to remember Frank Parker missing in action. There was 58,324 U.S. soldiers killed in Vietnam, and 136 of them were from Bucks County. Currently, there are still over 1,200 soldiers missing in action, and Major Parker, at one time, was one of them. Every dedication, we have a new service member, a new family, and a new story that will now be told over and over again, not just by the family, but all of you here present today. On December 29th, 1967, your family was changed forever. Parker's bravery while flying in a C-130, and I know many of us service members flew in a C-130, and it's not the most pleasant flight. He flown in a special mission, shows what he was willing to sacrifice for this country. We must never forget his courage and the sacrifice he made. It is our duty to continue searching for answers and advocating for all missing in action service members until all come home. Let us stand together in solidarity with the Parker family today and vow to keep the flame of remembrance burning light with this bridge dedication. We owe them a debt of great gratitude that can never be repaid. But we can ensure that your legacy lives on with this dedication, and every time someone drives over this bridge and sees your name and the POW MIA flag on the sign, they will know that you are still thought of and honored. I'll keep it quick and short and sweet because it's very hot out. Thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you, Matt. Truer words were never spoken. It is a shame we have to do them, but we do them. And it is important for every neighborhood, every generation to realize that our responsibility is to pass these things down to the next generation so they're not lost and forgotten. Very important. At this time, I'd like to invite the Parker family to come up so we can get ready to unveil that sign, if you don't mind. So we've talked about Major Frank Claveloux Parker III as a soldier, but what do we know about him really? I don't know. I asked some questions, and apparently he was a jazz guy, loved jazz, drove a Triumph TR3. If you don't know what that is, that's a very, very cool car from back in 1966. I'd love to have one of them. Be cool. Would he still have it today? Would he still be driving it around? Would he go over this bridge? Maybe. He was smart. A man was into computer science in 1966. Think about that for a minute. 1966, we're getting ready to go to the moon. We're working with slide rules. We're using our brains. No calculators, no phones. And he's at the very, very tip of that. So he must have been an intelligent man. But from what we've read, also a very good man. His father was lost in World War II, flying over New Guinea in 1942, in a plane as a flyer. Body not recovered. Imagine the courage and sacrifice he decided when he said, "I will enlist." And what his parent, his mother, and his family must have thought, knowing that that is truly a possibility. So, for those things, I'm thankful that I've now learned his story. And I'm also thankful that from today on, Bucks County Bridge 264 will now be known as Major Frank Claveloux Parker III Bridge. It's okay.
I don't have anything prepared, but I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for coming. I am overwhelmed by the amount of support from everybody. And also thank you to the organizers who at the last minute changed the bridge because they saw something I didn't even remember I wrote on Facebook about this street being an important one to our family. We used to live in the gray house down there. This was our grandmother's property. My uncle still lives in that house, and this was our garage right here. So this bridge means a lot. So just want to say thank you to everybody.
Yes, we did. We originally posted that would be on 4th Street, and then one of Debbie's posts was about 9th Street and the bridge and what it meant to her family and describing the house. I immediately made some calls and said, what have we done as far as releasing information? Luckily, at that point, we hadn't put anything out, so we changed it to bring it to this bridge so it could be even better. So I'm really glad we were able to, because it even holds more special meaning now that this is your home. I'd like to introduce Peter Chung, Head of Veterans Affairs for Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are gathered here today not simply to dedicate this bridge, but to honor a life of quiet heroism, unwavering service, and ultimate sacrifice. This bridge now bears the name of Major Frank Parker III, United States Air Force electronics officer who gave his life in service to our nation during a mission few knew and even fewer could speak of. He flew into danger not for glory or recognition, but because the mission required it, because his country asked for it. Over the skies of North Vietnam, in the long and harrowing struggles of the Vietnam War, he served in a role veiled in secrecy with stakes as high as freedom itself. His mission was classified, his fate for many years unknown, and yet in that silence his sacrifice echoed through time. Today, we speak his name with honor, we tell his story with pride, and we ensure that generations to come will remember not just the war, but the man. Not just the mission, but the meaning behind it. To the family, your burden was carried not only in loss, but in the long wait for answers. Your strength honors him, and today, this community joins you in remembrance and in gratitude. Just like Matt said, from this day forward, as people cross this bridge, they will see more than just a name. They will see a legacy. They will be reminded that freedom has a price, and that sometimes the greatest acts of heroism are the ones carried out in silence, under cover of night, and known only to a few. Let this bridge be a lasting tribute to Major Frank Parker III, an airman, a warrior, a patriot. May God bless his memory, may God bless his family, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. And at this time, I would like to present the Parker family a flag that was flown over the United States Capitol at the request of the Honorable Brian K. Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Peter. As I said, these dedications don't take place without a lot of cooperation and help from the county. And in the end, I thank the entire county, but I know Bob Harvey has been the spearhead that makes sure that this continues. And again, I appreciate that, Bob. Thank you. And I'd like to introduce Commissioner Bob Harvey.
Thank you, Ed. Thank all of you for being here. Obviously, to Major Parker's family, on behalf of the county, we do this to honor the sacrifice that you made and that your, husband, father, made to this country. As Ed mentioned, and actually I should stop there. Ed Preston never really thanks, never really likes to be thanked himself. And so for Ed and the organization, we have other members here from the organization that help him. Thank you, Ed, for all the work you do on this. We have our general services staff. We thank them for setting up the chairs and the tents and the podium, our communication staff, obviously Veterans Affairs. It is a whole effort to do this, and it is one of those things that, as I'm sure the other elected officials here from the borough and the county would agree, sometimes things in government are actually pretty easy. And talking to Ed several years ago when we're dedicating a bridge in Humeville for a Marine Corps corporal who was lost in Vietnam, it was a PennDOT bridge. He said, "I'd like to be able to do this in the county." And I said, "Well, how many names do we have?" He said, 136. I said, "Well, we've got about 120 bridges, so we can make this happen." It is something to think about. As I read a little bit about Major Parker, the fact is, you heard that his father was lost over New Guinea when Major Parker was this Major Parker was only 2 years old, and the fact that he also was lost in the Air Force. He was, at the time of his death, 25 years old. Think about, 27 years old. Sorry, 27 years old. And we think about, age. My son turns 27 next month. It's hard for me to believe that little kid I raised could be in a situation where he was in harm's way, not just as a flyer, but as a major in the United States Air Force. That at that age reached that rank and that seniority and that responsibility. We send our young people off to war, and many don't come home. And so this is our way to honor them. The fact that this bridge is literally, connected, physically connected to property that he had and lived where he lived at that time, is something that makes it even more special. So it is our honor to be here. I also want to thank the American Legion Post for their role and the Warriors Watch behind me. Thank you for everything you do to make this a successful event and a way to honor Major Parker. So thank you again.
So this will conclude the dedication for today. If you have missed it or if you're watching it on Facebook, we thank you. If you did miss it, it'll be posted on the website we've created called buckscounty.gov/memorial bridges. At that site, you can see the entire ceremony. A cache of pictures will also be published probably in the next 3 to 5 days, I would imagine, and you can see everything right there again. Hopefully it'll be on Channel 6 and 39 tonight as well.
69.
Oh, 69, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. The next dedication will take place on August 12th in Churchville for Chief Warrant Officer Robert Orrin Hill. So at this time, I'd like to call the color guard to retire the colors.